like.
All right, segue, but related segue, because you mentioned Terminator, you mentioned Alien. I was just thinking about these movies today because I went to a family birthday party. Little boy in my family turned 8 years old today, so we went to his birthday party. And last minute, I went out to buy him a gift. And I was thinking, like, man, when I was a kid, I remember being 8 years old, and my favorite toys were the Aliens action figures. I had every Aliens action figure there was. And I started thinking, like, wait a second. Old man Derek thought movies today suck, especially kids' movies, because I just realized when I was 8 years old, all of my favorite movies were R-rated movies that were made for kids. I loved Terminator 2 and I loved Aliens. And I feel like kids today don't have those movies coming out. They're getting like Star Wars and
the Marvel movies,
yeah, which are great for them.
Which are fine, but they are not the same as an R-rated movie. They're kids.
They're not like big concept like sci-fi franchises like that, I guess.
Yeah, and it just dawned on me, like, yeah, they used to make R-rated movies for kids, and they don't anymore. And I thought that those movies were so cool. For years, I was obsessed with just a handful of movies instead of, nowadays you get 10 movies a year.
But I wasn't allowed to watch those movies.
Yeah,
because it was rated R.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of kids didn't see them, and their parents wouldn't let them.
A lot of these movies, I still had to wait till I was like way later because I didn't
see Terminator 2 until like 2016.
Yeah,
something
I just saw
like
it.
And
that.
I honestly only saw it a few years before that. I didn't see that when I was younger.
My first memory of being in the movie theater, I probably said this on the podcast before, is Friday the Nightmare Before Christmas Part 5.
No, Nightmare on Elm Street?
Nightmare
on Elm Street, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street. No, I know what I said.
Close enough.
I know what I meant. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. I remember being a kid, like watching this guy with this burnt face, like chasing people with this truck, and he like crashes into a backyard and thinking like, why is this guy driving a truck and it's not on the road? I was probably 4 years old.
Oh my God.
They took me to see Terminator 2 in theaters. I remember my parents rented Predator 2, and I watched it when I was probably 5 years old. I was allowed to watch a lot of those
childhood
movies.
was very different from mine when I wasn't allowed to see the sequel to Honey, We Blew Up the Kid. What is it? Honey, We Blew Up the Baby. I couldn't see that because we rated PG. And
What?
really?
We got to the theater. They turned the fucking car around.
What?
Yeah, because it's PG. And you know what? It's probably okay for you, Sean, but your little brother's here.
Did you?
Oh
See,
my
I
God.
was the little brother. I was the younger.
Right.
So, if it was good enough for me, the whole family could be involved.
Oh, I will. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that movie was called Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Yeah.
But I believe it was originally called Honey, I Blew Up the Baby, and then they got cold feet about that title.
Okay.
Because that is said in the movie.
Yeah, I swear to God, I
blew
saw
up the
trailers
baby.
for it.
Yeah, and I remember I had Disney Adventures magazine, and it was listed in there. They announced it as Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. Mm-hmm. And I think they just went like, oh, that's kind of...
Yeah, it's better if it's kids.
Anyway.
There was a moment in my life that I'll never forgive my mom. And my friends were all going to go see the Mortal Kombat movie, and I was so excited.
Oh, no.
I was so excited. It was a early showing, and it was like a little bit away. And so I was like, I woke up, ready to go, and I looked at the clock, and the movie had already started. And Mom's like, "Oh, I decided you couldn't see it. Sorry."
Oh.
So I didn't want to wake you up and tell you, so I decided.
What a slap.
Damn.
Can you believe that
What a
bullshit?
My mom let me like sneak into Mortal Kombat because it was PG-13, but I was only 10 years old. But she's like, you can go. And she gave me money and dropped me off at the theater with my friends, and we went and saw it. I loved Mortal Kombat.
My parents were generally no rated R. PG-13 they were totally cool with, but R generally no if they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
If they did know about it, then it was situational. So like my parents were really into the Alien movies, so that was like, hey, you know what? Because I was like, oh, what are those? I want to see those, and they were like, you know what? They're really intense. If you think you can handle them, here they all are on VHS. Go ahead. And then, but I didn't even watch them because I was just like, oh, well, they put it on me, and it was like, they're intense. Well, maybe later. I'll watch them later. I didn't see them until I was in high school.
I wanted to be John Connor so bad. I was 8 years old on my bike, fat ass Puerto Rican kid. Like I was 125 pounds at like 8 years old, and I would take a soda can and stick it in my back wheel. So it would make like the motorcycle sound. You guys remember that? Or I'd attach a card to my spokes.
The card, yeah, baseball card.
So my bicycle sounded like a motorcycle, and I would ride down the street and stop and like look over my shoulder and pretend like a big rig was crashing off a bridge to come after me, and then I'd ride so hard. I'm John Connor. Hell yeah.
But the first, oh, damn, what was I going to say? The first movie that I ended up actually seeing, though, that was rated R, and I actually watched it through, ended up being Predator. It was on Spanish TV, and it was like, whoa, this is a rated R movie? Oh, they blew his arm off. Whoa. It was like kind of a lot for a minute, but then by the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, this is all movie magic. Like, you know, it's like he didn't really, you know. So
my dad and my brother loved Schwarzenegger movies, so I saw Total Recall as a kid. The chick with 3 boobs blew my mind. I went over to a friend's house. We watched Predator and The Running Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, Schwarzenegger movies ruled. I know parents today. I ended up getting Fortnite action figures for the birthday party.
I bet he was stoked.
Best gift of the party.
There you go.
He told me specifically.
There you go.
And I know a lot of parents today who are like, I don't let my kids play Fortnite. I think that's wrong. Cartoon violence much and that bullshit. But I feel like, I just realized, like, I guess. But I was watching Terminator 2 and Aliens.
It's
when
not
I was
like
8 years
Doom
old.
where there's not blood in Fortnite or anything. Like,
I was playing Doom when I was like 10 years old. I just feel like, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be something that's violent that the kids are into.
Well, people, let me tell you. People fucking love to judge you about parenting. And I get this all the time where it's like, oh, you let your kids have that much screen time? It's like, yeah, it doesn't fucking affect you at all. So go to hell. Like, it's like, it happens all the time. So yeah, I'm sure that gift. Oh, you know, actually, that game is a little violent. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I love all the parents who were like, don't let your kids play computers. Don't let them get into gaming. It's going to ruin their life. Yeah. Getting into computers is going to ruin kids' lives. Because in the future, everybody who didn't use a computer as a child, they're going to be well off.
Yeah, no shit.
They're going to be the guys running all the businesses that where the AI robots do all the work. It's going to be the people who never used a computer as a kid.
The one thing that I've ever agreed with Will.i.am on is the puss. The puss is excellent.
It's a watch, everybody.
It's a watch one. But that school, every class should have like early programming. Like, if every kid learned how to make a fucking app, do you know what kind of power they would have over the next generation? Like, oh my God.
In Beckett and Emma school, there's a semester that they have to take coding.
Oh, whoa.
Coding, do they have
coding,
to?
yes.
Oh,
it's
no
like
kidding.
a class that everyone takes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Will.i.am's influence then paid off.
Got him.
And they're going to be programming on the
I was actually
iPod.
I read like an article years ago, and the author made a great argument. He's like, why would we ever not give new technology to our children? Imagine the cavemen who invented fire, but they went, no, this is too dangerous. Don't let the kids play with it. Don't let them know how to use this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the kids get the technology and then they do shit with it.
So there you go.
In the
Derek
next
is-
generation.
Derek is pro let the kids play with fire.
Fuck
There it
yes. Let the kids play with fire.
You know, I understand there's war everywhere.
My mom also let me play with fire when I was a kid.
Dude, I loved matches.
But
as a kid.
I understand
that was
that
my
there's
favorite toy. It was
Me
cool.
too.
war.
Matches?
That's a cool toy.
I
yeah.
would walk around with like a ball of twine and like some matches, and I would just burn them like randomly.
And your mom was cool with that?
Yes, she gave them to me. You laugh. Okay, you
My
could have
brother did
watched
that
fucking
too.
anything
No.
rated more than a G.
Hey, I'm jealous. I'm not upset
That's
with
why
that.
we all love practical effects in movies so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
hey, I'm
why
with you.
when I was the government, I said light my ass on fire because I'm comfortable with fire, baby.
That's sick.
Exactly. All
You
right,
know,
sorry, Rocco.
and
What were you
no,
gonna say?
the war. There's war out there. Why can't we have a war on education?
Hell yeah.
Good.
That's what YouTube is helping.
Yeah.
YouTube is.
Oh, you let your kids watch cartoons in the morning? I don't do that because we limit their screen time.
That was and I saw that happen to my parents. My parents they had family friends
gonna
that
be
were
boring as
also
fuck.
parents, same age.
Yeah.
And it was constantly, Rocco has a TV in his room? Huh.
Yeah.
I saw them get side eye about that every time they came over. I was like, I would get a new Nintendo game and I would bring it to my room, and they were like, "Oh, wow, he has a TV in his room."
And you know what? Here's the thing: if they want to have that conversation when they get home between each other,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But they can't leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
They have to make little comments to your fucking parents, and then maybe, I mean, this won't happen, but maybe they get in their parents' brain, they take out your TV. Like, fuck those people. Try to screw your shit up.
I have a rule with that kind of stuff, because you, Sean, when it comes, like, you're a parent, and and that was a thing that was new to me when it was first starting, whatever, when you first had kids, whatever. But
Right.
I had to establish in my brain, because every now and then I wanted to say something, not like, what I mean. I'm not like fucking backseat parenting you.
No.
What fucking info could I bring you in that department? But you know what I mean. But every now and then there was something where I would go, maybe he doesn't know about this, like a really specific thing.
Sure.
Like I'm making this up completely, but
Totally.
like, hey, just so you know, they found fucking radiation in 3DSs, so maybe Beckett shouldn't chew on one.
I will tell you, I got one text from Rocco ever.
Yeah.
And it was, hey, that VR headset, I took a picture of Sawyer. Is
that's what it was.
It's meant for kids like 9 and up, which I did know.
Yes.
And I did appreciate the text. I didn't think that was like, that's not the same thing.
So
though.
but that was a situation where I thought maybe I have some info that he doesn't.
Right.
And my policy that I set up is I say that I allow myself once. Hey, just so you know, that.
Yeah.
To keep fucking bringing that up becomes, hey, fucker, what do you like?
Right.
I'm the fucking parent here, and what? Because I saw that with my parents. Like they would, like, their family, our family friends would bring something up. Hey, just so you know, da. But when you keep bringing it up, then it's like, what do you want me to do, dude? Do you want to raise these kids or what? So I felt like, well, maybe that's info you don't have. Here it is.
I posted that picture, but she had it on her head for probably 10 seconds because I don't know what else to do. She wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And she got too nauseous, had to throw
No,
it
she
off.
just wanted it, and then she did it, and she was done. But then I see, but the picture just looks like she's playing a fucking game.
Sure.
You don't know, so I appreciate you saying
I just
that.
didn't know. Like I said, sometimes people don't look at the thing, and I just, hey, just so you know.
No,
okay,
I think
great.
that
And
was the right thing to do.
But
Good
the
move.
bummer is Rocco only allows himself to do it once.
Oh,
so
so
there's
next
going to come a time when, he's going to see a photo. It's, Beckett is watching Death and Rebirth, and he's saying, I don't like the ending of Evangelion. I'm never going to watch the show again. And Rocco's going to want to text and be like, he has to watch
You know what,
End of
Rocco?
Ava.
I'm going to go and
But
say that
that's
wasn't
different.
your one, and you have another one if you want it.
Well, I'm saying one per item.
Okay.
I'm not saying you can only speak up once.
Okay, good.
I will speak up again.
Yeah.
There
Just
will
not
be-
about
there will be
VR.
That
others.
to me is like you're concerned for my kid's safety, and that's fine. Like that's allowed. But like the TV in your room, what the fuck? Like you.
I mean, I saw them. These people that my parents knew brought that up to them every time they came over. It was just like, I mean, he's got a TV in his room. Who knows what he's watching? And let me tell you, I was the
Pornography.
best fucking kid. I never watched anything sketchy in there whatsoever. But it was like, it's like all I had was fucking 13 channels. It's like I had Ninja Turtles, like that.
Scrambled porn. The Spice Channel, channel 99.
Yeah, I mean, I had that in my room too.
I mean, everyone. But I mean,
See
let's
what
be real.
happens?
Every kid did flip past the static to see what they could see. But that was the
Sean
worst.
was
that I
so
ever got.
repressed that he was addicted to the Spice Channel.
I was addicted.
If
Spice
you
addict.
had been allowed to see R-rated movies, you would
I
see
would've
a
finally
boob now
seen
and
a boob.
again, and you wouldn't be addicted to the
would've seen-
scrambled.
Then I had to fucking watch Titanic 10 times in theaters just to see that one boob
Hell
at
yeah.
one time.
I would spend summers in Russia, and they just air like not porn but art films, movies
Yeah, pretty
uncensored
much.
in Russia because
Right.
in Europe nudity is not a thing. So as a kid, I just watched like action movies with violence and like a lot of tits, so it never like stimulated me beyond like okay, whatever. I just saw a lot of cool shit in Russia, specifically Terminator 2 dubbed every day.
remember I was. This is all right. This is gonna make my parents seem bad.
Uh-oh.
I was a kid and my parents rented Natural Born Killers from Blockbuster, and I was like, "Can I watch this?" They're like, "Sure." And I watched it up until I think the first mass murder scene. And as a child, I just was so disturbed that I told my parents, like, "I'm gonna go to my room. Bye." And I just left.
Yeah.
I felt like, ooh, so cool. I get to watch these bad grown-up movies. And I was like, I just self-assessed, like, I'm not ready for this.
This isn't
Yeah.
for me yet.
I'm too innocent for this.
Yeah. I definitely had a lot of those moments. Anytime I had some kind of first breakthrough to something, I would get like, Oh no.
Just
I
uncomfortable.
don't know about this.
That movie made
Let
me
me go
feel
process this.
really uncomfortable. Yikes. Don't let your kids watch Natural Born Killers.